Hi and welcome to my channel, Crafting with Indiana Jones. I am she, Indiana Jones herself. What do we have in store for today's adventure? Well, we have some thrift flips, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and something special you probably won't see anywhere else. So stick around and thrift flip with me. Let's go. Fasten your seatbelt, folks, as we go on another adventure on the Thrift Flip Road Trip Challenge. This time, Fort Myers on the west coast of Florida and the Paradise Vintage Marketplace. It truly was a paradise for vintage seekers. But for me, well, just more shenanigans. But let's get started. So at the Paradise Antique Mall of Fort Myers, I found these tarnished little vintage antique spoons. They were only $1 each. Only $1. And I told my brother Manny, my brother Manny, to please help me chop these in half so that I can make jewelry. I know, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't do this usually, but I just saw these spoons so beautiful and so ornate. That's what I decided to do. So I'm going to use the spoon bowl as a decorative pendant that I'm going to hang on a necklace, or it could be on a leather strap, whatever you'd like. And all I'm using here is a little bit of E6000. They say it's good for jewelry, so I'm going to try it out. Remember, this is I'm delving into new waters here, people. Just come swimming with me. No sharks, don't worry about it. Just gotta sink or swim. So all I'm doing is attaching a loop, I guess, to the spoon so that I can loop you guys know what I'm talking about? That little thing. Don't know what I'm talking about. The little thing that you put your chain through, that's what I'm attaching to the spoon bowl. Easy as pie. And all I'm doing is using one of those little clips to just keep it in place. And I got these clips at the Dollar Tree. They're awesome. They're wonderful for your crafts. So I put that aside and let it just glue, just let it dry. And it only takes like maybe 10-15 minutes. So here I'm just using some notions that I had, some pearls, and some other little bits and bobs of jewelry that I had. And I'm just putting into the bowl. Since the bowl has kind of a shell shape, I really love the idea of pearls. Now, I received this item from Amazon recently, and I'll have a link to it down below. It's just this beautiful rhinestone, and I'm talking about rhinestone. It's real stones. It's not like plastic like what you see at the Dollar Tree. And they're these miniature micro rhinestones that are all put together in a row, and they shine so brightly. And I thought, oh, I have to use this for this project. It really is beautiful. And truly, for the price, it was very inexpensive to use, especially that little bit. And I'll have many more rhinestones for many projects to come. Lastly, I added this pearl and rhinestone bow from Totally Dazzled. Of course, I had to add a little bit of dazzle from Totally Dazzled to finish off this beautiful pendant. And again, you can wear this with a long chain or a short chain, but what a beautiful idea. You might have silverware in your own drawers that is probably just collecting dust or rust or the patina that you see here. Why don't you make something beautiful that you can wear and that people will probably talk about in a good way? So I would love to take a road trip with these three ladies, Teresa of our Greene Acres and Kay and Trish, the crafting cousins. They are truly inspiring, and I love the fact that they're sharing their love for thrift flips with all of us. Now, on to our journey to another thrift store. Let's go. We always like to go thrift shopping, and this is my favorite thrift shop. But not just for what they have inside, but what happens behind the scenes. Let's check it out. I'm sure many of us are very well acquainted with Goodwill stores. I'm sure you've been to one at least once in your life. But check out my store. It's huge. Look at all the clothing. However, I have to say, as far as housewares goes, we don't have that much. But we do have a great selection of furniture this week. And of course, every week the store changes. Check out this. Where can I wear this lovely outfit, huh? No, I don't think it's right for the office. But maybe I can wear this on a night on the town. How about that? Rawr. Yeah. Well, let's see what I found at Goodwill this week. I found these two on a recent visit to the Goodwill outlet store. They sell things by the pound there, so these didn't come out to more maybe than $1.50 for both of them. Now, All I had to do was repair them with a little bit of wood glue and a rubber band, and they were as good as new. But what stayed behind with me was something much more valuable than these two cute little frames. Let me show you. I recently had the rare opportunity to visit Goodwill Industries of South Florida. No, it's not just a superstore. You see, they have a full facility where they provide vocational training and employment for individuals who might otherwise not have the opportunity for a better way of life. From differently abled individuals to people who have been displaced by natural disasters to helping women and children who are victims of domestic violence. Goodwill has a way to help these individuals, and it's all thanks to you. Now here's another thrift flip. For this project, I'm taking these small wreaths that I found at the Dollar Tree, wreath forms, and a bunch of small spools that I found in a bag at my local Goodwill. I split this up with a friend of mine and decided to start using these. I had no idea what I was going to make, and then I was inspired by all these gold spools. I was hoping for those cute wooden spools, but then, as in everything, I took a second look at what I thought wasn't that pretty, and then I saw the beauty in it. So what I took is all of these ribbons and pieces of fabric and started wrapping them around these gold spools. I left the labels on the ends just as they were because I thought it was more authentic, and I don't know, I just liked it. And here I am just wrapping ribbon around each one of the spools. I think it's perfect to add all the different colors that you want to incorporate into your design. And because this is a small wreath, it's not going to entail using that many spools. I think maybe I used 10 to a dozen spools in this project. But again, you can decide to use however you want the spools that you happen to find either around your house or at a thrift store. And again, I'm using my wonderful stash of ribbons and fabrics, and it's just amazing how much you seem to store up and not realize you're not using. So this was a perfect use of all these little thin ribbons that I had. Now, after I've spooled up all of these ribbons and fabrics, now I'm going to start creating the wreath. First things first though, taking that wire wreath and covering it in this beautiful fabric, or burlap, I should say, burlap ribbon with lace. You can find ribbon that's very similar to this at the Dollar Tree. I actually got this ribbon in one of my Michael's grab bags after Christmas sale. I think I found this in February, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought this was the perfect backdrop for all of my spools. It doesn't distract from the actual spools, but it does provide a nice backdrop for all the wonderful spring colors that I'm going to use in this wreath. Very simply just wind the ribbon or the burlap around your wreath, and look how pretty it looks, just like that. But now as I add these spools, and this wreath just comes to life. Now remember, you can use spools that you might have around the house, or talk to your friends who sew if you don't sew. And if you want to use real, spools, there are spools out there that are relatively inexpensive if you wanted to do this for yourself. I actually am using some of the smaller spools, come from the Dollar Tree sewing kits that you probably have seen at the register, and you wonder, well, am I actually going to use that? Well, I had a whole bunch of those tiny little spools and I had never used them, and I thought this would be perfect, and it added some more color and dimension with the smaller spools. So here I am finishing up adding all of those colorful ribboned and threaded spools to my wreath. Next, of course, I'm going to add a bow. Yes, I'm not going to be bow challenged, and I'm going to add a beautiful burlap lace bow to my little wreath. And the other thing I found also in one of those Dollar Tree kits is that measuring tape. And I'm also going to add the measuring tape to my bow. I think it was only appropriate to have that in this sewing themed wreath. I think this is a perfect gift also for Mother's Day if you have a mom that sews, or a friend or an auntie that sews, or a grandmother. Here I am adding that measuring tape ribbon, and it was so easy just to wind it up, create a bow, and just add it to the middle bow by gluing it on with some hot glue. It doesn't end there though, because I thought, if you have thimbles or even little scissors, and in this case I'm going to use the tiny little scissors from the sewing kit. But before I do that, I have a wonderful collection of colorful buttons. So I'm going to add buttons all over. I mean, this is such a great way to just use all those supplies that you haven't been using. I have all these colorful buttons, and to tell you the honest truth, I don't sew as much as I should. I will be sewing a bit more since I have come into a big stash of fabric, and I feel like it's only right and appropriate that I start dressing myself a little bit and creating more items. And here I am adding that tiny little scissor from the sewing kit. And there you have it. And I think it's darling, don't you? Did you realize that at least here at Goodwill of South Florida, they are the ones that manufacture Army uniforms? And it was just a tremendous feeling, and forgive me if I get a little teary-eyed, as I saw these boxes of soldiers' uniforms getting prepared to be shipped out. I remember touching one of the boxes and saying a quick little prayer that whoever wears this, may God protect them. Goodwill Industries of South Florida not only creates the U.S. Army uniforms as well as the USPS Postal Service uniforms, but our own beautiful American flag. What a sense of pride to know that right in my own backyard, this is one of the largest facilities of American flag manufacturers here in the state. These beautiful flags can be purchased directly from Goodwill through their website, and I'll have a link for that below. But just take a look at this. It was so incredibly impressive, and I had no idea that this was literally in my own town. It's a beautiful sight, and not only because of what they're manufacturing, but because they're not only just creating these incredible flags, but because each one of these processes is offering an opportunity to individuals that might otherwise been overlooked. By partnering with other organizations in the community, Goodwill provides an opportunity to create a better life, working together with homeless shelters and shelters for victims of domestic abuse. Goodwill is providing not a handout, but a hand up and a creation of a new life. I mean, after all, that's what the American dream is all about. So to see that the American flag is right here in this process of creating American dreams for so many individuals, it just really filled me with so much pride. And to think that these flags might end up anywhere in this nation and maybe flying over the capital of your own hometown, who knows? So if you're interested, once again, in buying any of these American flags, you can go to their website. Here is just an overview of the whole facility as they prepare their flags for final distribution. It truly is a beautiful sight. Forgive me for being proud, but I really am very proud to know that Goodwill Industries does so much good for our community. For my next thrift flip, I'm going to use this mirror that I found at Goodwill. Now, this had a lot of cracks and defects in the frame itself, but I just thought it was such a beautiful design. However, when I brought it home and I tried to clean the mirror up, it seemed like the mirror had a residue of spray paint or some kind of something that just wouldn't come off. So I decided that this would be a perfect project to use my plaid floral transfers. Now, I first painted it with chalk paint, and it was like this creamy beige chalk paint. I didn't like how it looked. The black was still coming through too much. So I decided to just go ahead and paint it white. So here I am painting the whole thing white. Now, looking at this video, I'm thinking about actually maybe doing some antique wax on this just to bring out those details. But before I do that, I decided to go ahead and add my transfers. These are floral transfers, again, that I received from Plaid and the Plaid family products. As you know, I'm an ambassador, and I didn't even know that they had these florals, but they're absolutely beautiful. And I don't know what possessed me, but I thought it would be easier, or for whatever reason, I thought I could use the flowers on both sides of the mirror. I cut the design in half, and then in the end I just put them back together again and used the full design just on one side, and then some more designs on the other side of the mirror, and I think it looks so much better. Besides, I have to cover as much of the mirror as I can with these florals to disguise all the defects that are on the mirror itself. And I know it's strange, but I use Jenga blocks for my transfers. Other people use credit cards. It's whatever floats your boat. I like using my Jenga blocks. And here you have it. I really am happy now with the result. I wasn't too happy while I was painting the frame, but now with all these florals, I think this is just going to be a lovely spring decor piece for my home. So the next time you go to Goodwill, don't just think you're saving money, you're saving lives. So I hope after all of this, you're thinking to yourself, well, how can I help? You're already helping by donating clothes and other items to your local Goodwill, by shopping at the thrift stores. But third and most important, get the word out. Let people know what you learned here today and find out more about your local thrift shops. There are many thrift shops that have different missions, so maybe you should find out more about what they do and how you can support them. Thanks again for stopping by for the Thrift Flip Road Trip Challenge. Please remember to check out the full playlist of more wonderful DIY ideas. So, what was your favorite in this Thrift Flip Challenge? I have to admit, my favorite was visiting the Goodwill Industries headquarters. I hope that opened your eyes and your heart to Goodwill and to other thrift stores, and I would love to find out more about the thrift stores that you like to frequent and why. I love all of the hosts that we have today, which is Teresa of our Greene Acres and Kay and Trish, the Crafting Cousins. This is an ingenious idea for a monthly challenge, and now I have more than a great excuse to go shopping at my Goodwill to be part of this playlist and also to support what they do. And thanks to you for spending some time with me. I hope you learned something new and that you had fun. As I always say, stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you, and remember to live the adventure. I'll see you again soon with my next adventure. Bye. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and come back for more, so ring that bell so you're notified for the next adventure.